Hi Gemini, welcome to your monthly reading. As always, keep in mind that this is only a general reading. Always take what feels right and with what does resonate within your own life experiences at this time. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, please contact me through the email I put in the description box below. For the month of May, as usual, I have a special sales offer available, and for this month is inspired in the abundant Taurus season we are on, and it's called Building Blocks. It's a reading that focuses on the theme of growth and development of a current situation you might be wondering about, that growth being built and manifested, what kind of energies are supportive to that, what kind of energies are working against it as well. So if you would like to know more details about that special offer or any other of my services, just email me. Or if you would like to donate and support my channel, you can also do that by following the PayPal link, which is also down below. So, Gemini. The month of May, for some of you, can be a little bit bombastic. There's something here about unexpected situations, unforeseen events, information, being brought to the surface, truths being revealed, eye-opening moments. So it's a very, unpredictable force conducting here the experiences some of you could be experiencing, and it feels like you're almost like wired to this constant electric vibe, and at times this electricity brings this type of shocking snapping vibe. I really feel like it's an unprecedented time for some of you. So especially when we have the wheel and the tower in the same reading, there's this huge indication of great changes that feel destined a little bit out of our hands, because the wheel and the tower really speak about powers beyond our control. So changes that not necessarily we're pursuing, we're choosing, things just happen out of the blue and bring here a new facet of sorts, a new angle to situations. I feel like for some of you there will be this sort of crisis management. So for some Geminis, this could be that, something occurs here that brings a crisis into your life, and you will be managing this. And I feel like holding here together some parts so that they don't fall apart. And for some of you, this feels related to friends and groups. It could be dealing with your community. It could be dealing with a circle of people you're dealing with directly. It feels associated with more than just you and another. Obviously not for all of you, but for the majority, there's something, occurring amidst a circle of people you're dealing with in May that it's important. It could again be dealing here with your friends, with a large number of people that either you're working with, or even people in your family circle within the family. There's just something that feels like it could be that like there's something between people about the way they are relating with each other that gets under your nerves. So I'm feeling like there could be a situation where you're not necessarily it's like something that can affect you without necessarily you looking for it, because it could be like in your environment of work, for example. It's just a feeling of people really being a mess, people bringing up here chaos that can affect you, obviously directly or indirectly, and you're just managing this. It could be that there is a falling apart when it comes to ties and bonds that you have been used to, and it could be that there are indeed changes when it comes to the type of relationships you have been dealing with, especially relationships that are toxic, relationships that don't serve you, relationships that don't have a very a very good foundation. There's something here about faulty foundation. So those that are leaving your life, it's for a good purpose. Those that are, you know, revealing, you know, a side to them, that it feels like almost like this mask that is falling, and where you're seeing something you didn't expect about someone's behavior. It will, for some it will hurt, for some it will be again this upsetting, you know, moment, but it will serve you. It will serve you with the will. It will serve you to free you from a cycle where, you know, your associations or relationships have not been the best, or not been occurring. You know, there's something here about relationships in your life serving a function where values of real love, real care, real friendship maybe were not really, you know, the main reason why. For some, there's this type of transactional relationship dynamics that are becoming very evident, like this expectation that I'm in your life, or you should be in for you to be in my life, I should be receiving something in return, this type of things. And you might see again that there's an aspect to a person, to a group of people more particularly, that is just toxic. And this sense of criticism that you might be receiving, this sense of you know, almost like bullying you into doing something perhaps you don't want to do, is just, you know, a moment where it feels like a breaking point, where, you know, it's like the limit you can go. Some of you are also being tested when it comes to your limits. So aside of this specific message that will make sense for some of you, Gemini is at a whole for May. You might feel like you're being tested again. Your limits are being tested. Your patience is being tested. How much you can endure is being tested. Don't expect it to be the most comfortable and structured months. It feels like there's a lot in the air that is about unpredictability and change. And when we're crossing a period like that, a phase like that, you know, the worst thing we can do is to try to cringe into fear and hold on to the things we have. It's like learning to breathe, learning to have the energy circulate into your life, inviting that, making choices that promote that in your daily life, as small as it can be. It's better to adapt to this flow than to be pulled out of it, you know, by force. So it's like, don't wait for, again, an energy that is a little bit out of your control to force you into certain adaptations, because that way is going to be more traumatic, that way is going to be harder, and we don't want to see that. We don't want to see the harsh pulling effect. Some of you, it's like, it's not May, it's not the easiest months. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but the good side that I'm picking on here is that this Tower and this Wheel and this Five of Wands, so you can see that it's all about tension, high levels of tension. It's all about, you know, holding our breaths to see what's going to happen next, because it feels like there's not a real moment of real passivity, rest, you know, that it's really available here for May, because the month is high in intensity, really high in intensity. And when that intensity is not being consciously, you know, present in a way that you can identify it, you will most likely feel yourself on edge, feeling like there's this time bomb inside of you, feeling restless. So for those of you that are already kind of prone to stress or anxiety, or, you know, where you have a sensitive nervous system, for those of you that already suffer from this type of things, this is a month to work on that. This is a month to be extra protective of your nervous system in all ways you can. For some of you, it's just like you might not really enjoy where the tides are taking you, because you don't see yet here the effects that are going to come out of it that could be positive. You're just seeing the occurrence. It's almost like one after the other that you dislike, and the dislikes and the things you don't feel good about are going to weigh more than the good things. So I also feel like there needs to be a constant need for you to practice in May when you're facing anything that feels like adversity, for you to be more in this mode of constant practicing and training of your mind, and to not really be fooled and deceived by your own fears and by your own paranoia, because I feel like your reactions will be here the thing that defines how well or how wrong the month goes. Is if you are responding to events that might not be the ones you really like or feel good about, but when you're responding to a situation that is either bringing conflict, bringing disarray, bringing chaos, bringing a sense of separation, when you're reacting, the way you choose to react to this is how it's going to differ from then really, adapting to the movement of the wheel that wants you to be in a better position. So what is per se taken, what changes that you don't like in May, is to actually put you in a position, is to allow freedom and availability for you to have something much better. So if a relationship is false, it's going to, the cracking of that same relationship will then propel you into a very good one, or the same thing to a circle of people or friends, or to a work situation, depending obviously in your specific case. But the thing here is to not be fooled by the appearance of tragedy or a problem. If something feels like this big huge bad thing, before really reacting that in a way where you're truly buying into it and truly believing it, make sure that you make the sorts of evaluation, the sorts of a real evaluation of why did this happen, how is this really going to affect you for good and for bad. It's like to not be biased about this, to really be objective about why something occurred and how can that actually really be a good thing, because maybe you freed yourself from a burden that somehow you have an issue admitting that has been more of a burden or has been more of a lie. And suddenly, the universe gives you an opportunity to be free from this lie, to be free from this burden. And you might resist this because what about then? What will occur then, right? It's like the fear of the change, the result of this change. You just might, initially not be well adapting to it. And whatever it is that May presents that you feel as, you feel disappointed by, there's also this strong here repetition of it's only temporary. Don't again buy into this doomsday kind of mentality where from now on everything is going to be horrible and terrible and a nightmare. Breathe when you're struck by such thoughts, breathe, because it's test. I feel like you're being tested, as I said, your limits, the limits and the things you really believe about yourself and about life. All of this is really being tested, and it could be that May is an ultimate test of faith. Test of faith in yourself, in something you believe, in something you love. So if you ride here the storm that May presents, June is going to be rewarding. June is going to be much better, because by passing this difficult test that the universe brings you, I feel like something will come along again that is lucky. Remember, the wheel brings growth, promise of luck, promise of abundance. If we adapt to the ever-changing, current that life brings. So if I hope you have a great month. I'm sorry. I want to thank all of you that have been liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and donating to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see each other soon.